On your feet! Get them going!
Good evening, good afternoon, well, let's start with afternoon. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be, wherever you are in this great, big, beautiful world. Welcome to Cross Examinations and happy day of jihad. I hope everyone's safe out there. Seeing as how there's, I don't know if it's uprising. I know there's protests going on around this planet. I saw quite a few videos on the Twix, X-Twitter, I don't know what you call it, X, today, and yeah, hopefully nothing terribly violent erupts. I know they're calling for a day of rage and jihad, and I know what that means, but hopefully the Muslims around the world aren't taking that too terribly seriously. Hello, Edwin. The Japanese classroom looks well disciplined. You want to jump in here? Let me know. I'll toss you the link. Otherwise, we'll be moving along today. In about a half an hour, we'll be getting into Rise and Fall, daily devotional. As per usual, you can find the link in the Discord channel in the description. It's a good day to not be living in a blue city. Yeah, I'll be at home here for the day, unless I have to go to the store. I did go to the store. Got me some organic Mexican cold brew coffee. Quite tasty. All right, let me grab the link, invite, and toss it over to our good friend Edwindo. Boom, shakalaka. I just realized I have another message in Discord that I should probably read, but I'm not going to right now. All right. You might have seen the back to what we're doing in this series. Besides the Rise and Fall daily devotional, we're doing Bible Absurdities challenge, wherein I go through the list of 101 of the craziest, strangest, most absurd claims some dude on the internet said were in the Bible, and some of them are that voice is great of Edwin Boyd. I'd have to get a little lower to do Edwin. I don't know if I can. Let's see. Edwin. Good afternoon. Aloha.
What's the good word, Miller?
Jesus is the good word, my friend. Jesus is the good word. Yeah, so I've been looking for things to use for my thumbnails for Bible Absurdities. Dinosaurs and humans riding together in harmony. This is, of course, a biblical truth, and one that I know not all Christians adhere to, but it's because they're wrong. So I put that up. I don't know if that's going to be one of the absurdities that he brings up, like Behemoth, the Brachiosaurus, or some sort of, water-dwelling brontosaurus type creature is definitely described in the book of Job. But we'll get to that list after we get a quick update from Edwin. Edwin, how was your day of rage going?
How was my day of rage? I recorded a psalm. Let me see if I can find that.
Did you say a psalm or a song?
A psalm.
Why? I'm still having a hard time understanding what you're saying.
A psalm.
Psalm.
As in
Psalm.
harps and King David and such.
Oh, okay, yes. Your drawl was affecting my eardrums.
Drawl.
Oh, shoot. Dropping the lid. So, what psalm?
It was Psalms 5. Hang on a second. I'll get that for you.
While you're doing that, hello to everybody in the chat, including Amy Lester, Blacklisted Yours, Amy Lester, Devil's Hair, Zach Richmond, of course, Storytime with Friends, Zach again, Drake Tungsten, Walk the Dinosaur, Arlene. Hi, other people in the chat. Yeah, actually, Devil's Hair had some questions. Maybe we'll get to those real quick. Mike, question, is the war easier to get out of your mind, seeing how you are all in America and not in Europe, or is it just as difficult for you? I knew you are older than me, but still. Yeah, it's not out of mind. It's a constant. I mean, my family's Jewish. All my wife and my kids are all Jewish, and so obviously I'm taking one side over the other. But also I just believe, I posted on today that it's like Istanbul was Constantinople, New York was New Amsterdam. Look, Palestine was Israel. Israel was Palestine. Names change, and I know this is a bunch of political chicanery.
Well, my preference
generations old, but
yeah, my preference would be Fortress America and have us go back to Washingtonian politics where we stayed out of other people's business. But that's not going to happen in our lifetimes. And until we achieve that, if Hamas is a little bit thinner on the ground, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, look, my position here, and I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think the only long-term peace for the Gaza Strip is to tear down the border with Egypt and get all of the Hamas supporting Gazans out. Look, if you're not a Hamas supporting Gazan, then I don't think there's a problem. But if you support terrorism and you support fundamental Islam, basically if you're a fundamental Muslim, you need to be pushed out of Gaza, and they need to just wipe that entire place clean, start from scratch, and I don't know, put up a hotel.
That looks like what they're doing because they're starting the campaign from north to south.
Yeah, they're just going to squeeze them out.
Israel told the UN they had 24 hours to get out of northern Gaza. And so it makes sense to push them towards. So probably what's happening now is back channel negotiations, if not outright bribes to Egypt, and maybe negotiating promises of subsidies for them to take in the Gazans.
Yeah, because I watched a video today of Egyptians, like with backpacks of like water and supplies, crossing the border into Gaza to help their Palestinian neighbors. And I'm like, how are they getting in if the Gazans can't get out?
The Egyptian government doesn't want the Hamas militants in their country, though, because Hamas is...
Hey, you know what? Honestly, what the Egyptian government then can do is exactly what Mexico does to people at their southern border. They just let them all the way through their country to America. So Egypt can line up. Tell you what, America can buy the buses. We can line up buses at the border, take all the people from Gaza, and drive them all the way to Iran, where their fellow crazy people live. And there you go. There's dozens of Arab Muslim nations that could take in 2.2 million people from Gaza without destroying their economies.
But thinking more long term, and I don't think most people are thinking about this right now.
Stick by your mic. You keep like fading in and out.
Oh, I keep fading in and out. All right.
Yeah.
I wonder why. I see the problem. My microphone was turned all the way down to 5.
Oh, I thought maybe your beard was over the microphone. You couldn't.
So I believe that what Hamas was trying to achieve, Mike, was to kick off a regional war. And if 2 million Gazans have to be martyred for that to happen, they're probably okay with that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But I think what we're going to see here now is another 20 years of conflict. And there's going to be ramifications for this. We are probably going to see Islamic terrorism on U.S. soil within the next 2 to 6 months. And given that the southern border might as well be like a conveyor belt, it's not if, it's when. And there's going to be rage against us for using the might of the United States military to protect Israel and rearming them and such. So it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just reality. We all know there's not going to be any standing peace in that land until the millennial reign.
Devil's
Although
Hair
there will
says-
be 3.5 years of peace, but when that happens,
Yeah.
there's problems.
I'm not, man. I would sort of appreciate if Israel would stop launching stuff towards Damascus, because I don't want an advancement of biblical prophecy, because I'm not a pre-trip guy.
Well, you're gonna have to tell Hezbollah to knock it off first.
So in the private chat, Mike, I put the psalm I recorded, and that's on that that 3Speak is the video hosting service of the Hive blockchain that I keep telling you about.
Okay.
So that is censorship resistant. That's what you should put. We got to put some of your video content on 3Speak too. Are you not seeing it?
I see it. I'm just wondering how long it is.
2 minutes, I think. You don't have to play it. But this is what I did.
Okay. Well, you can put it in the chat too, then. All right. If you don't want me to play it, I won't.
But this is.
You want me to?
Well, you can play like the first verse. That's fine.
First verse, same as the first. Oh, never mind.
Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my meditation. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my God. For unto thee will I pray. My voice thou shalt hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee, and will look up. For thou art not a God that have pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Thou hatest all workers of iniquity. Thou shalt destroy them that speak leasing. The Lord will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. But as for me, I will come into thy house in the multitude of thy mercy, and in thy fear will I worship toward thy holy temple. Lead me, O Lord, in thy righteousness, because of mine enemies. Make thy way straight before my face, for there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. Destroy thou them, O God. Destroy thou them, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. But let all those that put their trust in thee rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy, because thou defendest them. Let them also that love thy name be joyful in thee. For thou, Lord, wilt bless the righteous. With a favor wilt thou compass him, as with a shield.
All right. Very nice. You going to do those regularly?
Yeah. I'm trying to get one every day, but it doesn't always work out. Psalms 5 seemed appropriate today, but sometimes when you're reading the Psalms, you're like, are you reading the Bible? Are you reading some heavy metal lyrics?
Yeah, there's I did a skateboard graphic once for myself. So I used to work for Black Label. I used to do graphics for them. And then one time he had me do some stuff, and I was like, hey, instead of paying me, how about if you make me 100 decks of my own graphic? And he's like, yeah, sure. And so I made my graphic, and it was David versus Goliath, and it was called the Giant Slayer deck. And on the bottom, it had the scripture about chopping off heads and stuff like that. In the name of the Lord.
Bust their teeth from their mouth, Lord.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get to the other Winder Brave tab. 101 craziest, strangest, most ridiculous absurdities in the Bible challenge. We are at number 53. And hey, let me see real quick. All right, everybody's on Unapologetic in America today. Thank you very much. If you're watching this after the fact and you've gotten this far, please leave a comment in the comment section below. It helps the algorithm, helps our channel to grow. And who knew? It looks like we caught the algo on a couple of these videos because they're getting some decent views. Not like thousands or anything, but like just getting recommended, and people are watching at least a bit of it. Obviously, it's an hour long, so it's hard to get some people to sit down and watch the whole thing. But if you're here, please do like, subscribe, and share. I thought you covered 53 last night. Did we? God gives bad advice. Oh yeah, we did. We did.
Did we?
Yeah,
yeah, we did bad advice, but we didn't do the maladies. We didn't. Yeah, we didn't do 52.
Let's go to 52. All right, 52. God smites the people of Ashdod with hemorrhoids in their secret parts. Now, I don't find this absurd. I find it hilarious. Yes, exactly. When I don't even have to read this whole thing. I know this. I'm very familiar with the story. In fact, we covered it very recently in going through the rise and fall, because in 1 Samuel, was it the Amalekites or the Philistines? The Philistines. Okay, first of all, the Israelites were stupid enough to take, because they're losing a battle or something like that, they decided to take the Ark of the Covenant into battle because they thought, I don't know, it would scare the Philistines or something. And the Philistines beat snot out of them, took the Ark, and God was like, that doesn't belong to you. And he started smiting them with emerods in their secret parts, which means big boils in their butt. They had emerods or hemorrhoids. And I think it's hilarious. I don't think it's absurd at all.
Ashdod, if you go right up the coast from Gaza, Ashdod is about 15 miles north of the most northern border of the Gaza Strip.
Okay. Anything to add?
This is, I guess Samuel would make good toilet reading. Maybe put this Samuel 5, 6 through 12 on I don't know, right above where you perch on the throne, just if you're ever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And 51 is in part and parcel of this story, but this guy gets it completely freaking wrong. 51, God demands 5 golden hemorrhoids as a trespass offering. Wrong. The Philistine priests, they are the ones who suggested that when they return the ark, they also make an offering of golden emerods or golden hemorrhoids and golden mice. God, in no way, shape, or form, asked for that. So this was a Philistine concept of how do you appease a God who is beating the snot out of you. You cast your curse, whatever your curse is, you cast that in gold. I don't know exactly how they managed to cast hemorrhoids.
Yeah, how do you make the mold for that? Maybe sacrifice a few of the undesirable Philistines. I don't know.
Ahmed, you're going to have to sit in this sand right here, in this mold. Yeah. Sit in this mold until the clay sets.
Doesn't sound like the most aesthetic gold working you could fathom.
Yeah. WT says, I wonder if all hemorrhoids are divine smiting. It probably feels like it. Well, I don't want to talk about that. That's a bit of butthurt, says Arlene.
Yes.
Wah, wah. All right, number 50. Goliath was 10 feet tall, 6 cubits and a span, which is technically 9.5 feet tall or thereabouts. But yeah, there were giants in the land in those days and after. So we've got plenty of evidence for giants, including giant skulls, giant footprints, reportage from the early 20th century, late 19th century to early 20th century, across the world, a lot in America, of people finding giant skeletons 9, 10, 11 feet tall. And then the Smithsonian just secreted them all away. If you want to know more about that in particular, I've got videos on my channel. You could just scroll back and look for the one it says there were giants in the land. I think is
They're
the
probably
title
in
of
the basement of the Vatican. So a cubit is the distance essentially from the inside of your elbow to your fingertip. That's a
Well,
cubit.
there's two cubits. There's the Babylonian cubit, and there's the what's the other one? There's two different cubits. The distance it's between like 16 and 18 inches. So we're
Now,
just going by
sense of scale here. If it was 9 or 6 mic bits, then Goliath would be 5'4", 5'5".
I'm not that short.
He was moderately tall for the era.
Yeah. Hey, there's a couple people watching on Blacklist Universe right now. If you want to go ahead and click that pin. Oh, it's not even pinned. I didn't pin it.
You didn't pin
You
it?
want to click? There's a link in the chat. Yeah. It'll take you over to Unapologetic American, where you can fellowship with everybody else who is watching. Again, like, share, subscribe. All right, number 49. I don't understand why this is an absurdity. David kills a lion and a bear. David caught a lion and a bear, quote, by his beard, and then killed him. Well, he didn't catch. Bears don't have beards. Lions do, right? Lions have little.
Well, I mean, bears are fuzzy. I guess you could. I didn't even know there were bears in. Maybe there were, because is and were are two different things. Yeah.
Also, back then, I believe that there was no like. I think there was far more vegetation far further north than there is now. I think the Sahara has been a creeping.
It's entirely possible. The Sahara. I think your geography's getting a little. If the Sahara is encroaching into the border of Israel, yeah, stuff is getting wacky.
Well, I'm saying, isn't that not what it was called? The big expanse of desert on the top of
Yeah. But the Saharan desert is
right.
Yeah,
so I think it's been getting. Sahara's been getting bigger, so the jungle's been receding over the centuries, the millennia.
But the Sahara's in Africa.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying the wildlife would have been closer, right? If there's, forget it. Obviously, there were bears. They might be extinct in the region now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, Asian lions didn't have big manes, so it makes sense. Well, I don't think they would be Asian lions. That's what I'm saying. It's like the biological, what do you call it? Diversity would have been different. I don't think there's, other than zoos, I don't think there's lions in Israel today. I mean, we have lions in America. They're just mountain lions, right?
But with all the references to them, obviously they were there, right?
Right.
And people were familiar with them. The lion of the tribe of Judah.
Unicorns. When's the last time you saw a unicorn in Israel, right? Am I right? Or am I right? I'm streaming.
Why is Solomon misspelled?
Solomon, because this guy's an idiot. But yeah, I don't think it's an absurdity to say. I mean, he's probably like 14, 15 years old, which, I mean, Isaac's just turned 16. He's, you can be pretty man. Their kids that age were fighting in wars at the time, right? You're a shepherd. He's obviously blessed by God to be able to, fight. And I don't know if he used the sling or if he used whatever he used. He managed to kill a lion and a bear. It's like, okay. Is there anything absurd about that, Edwin, that I don't know about?
Yeah, and it may not have necessarily been what we thought of a lion or like the size of like a brown bear, but beyond that, there were mighty men in the earth in those days, and God had a purpose for David, and David was an exceptional person. With that said, don't try to go, reading some Psalms and then go bear wrestling. It ain't gonna work out good for you.
Yeah, Joe says there were lions all the way to Greece. In fact, when Persians retreated, some were attacked by lions and didn't had a nice day. Yeah, and Elisha cursed a bunch of boys who were making fun of him for being bald, and a bear ate him, or a bear killed him anyways. So there were bears in Israel. That's my point. I'm surprised he doesn't have that on there. God and Solomon have a long face-to-face again. I don't understand why this is just him having a problem with God existing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to excuse those as if you can't accept the first 4 words of the Bible, then you can't accept any of it. Right?
Right.
We don't have to say the first 4 words, do we? All right, number 47. Ravens bring Elijah bread and flesh for breakfast and dinner. Oh my gosh, dude. What do you think about that, Edwin? How absurd is it that God actually might control some animals?
Not at all. If you accept that God willed the universe and all existence into existence, God having some birds bring bread and flesh to Elijah isn't that much of a stretch.
Yeah. The stretch would be like, gross. Where'd you get this bread?
Right.
And more gross. Where'd you get this flesh? Meat in the evening. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure the ravens weren't flying around with a bag of McDonald's. It was, yeah, that's curious. Again, I'll chalk that up to gross, but absurd? I don't think so. Number 46. Elijah shows that he's a man of God by burning 102 men to death.
Yeah, that happens.
I'm going to assume these are the priests that, right, of Baal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What chapter is that? 2 Kings.
2 Kings 1, 9 through 12.
1?
Yeah.
Wait, 2 Kings 1?
2 Kings 1, 9 through 12.
9 through 12. Then the king sat upon him a captive of 50 with his 50, and he went up to him. Behold, he sat on top of a hill, and he spake with them. Now, man of God, the king hath said, come down. And Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, if I be a man of God, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50.
Oh, yeah, these.
And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Well, there you go.
I mean, it's not very nice.
No, but they weren't doing nice things either. It's not.
Yeah, but I love was it the 3rd round when the guy comes out and he's like, please don't kill me.
When you were young, you used to say, live and let live. Yeah, Paul McCartney hadn't written his songs yet, so it was definitely live and let die.
Live and let die. Yeah, so again, this by absurd, how do you qualify it as absurd? It may be messed up. I mean, may not be messed up. And who knows? Elijah was a prophet. Elijah had the ability to ask God for things and God would make him happen. So it's like no person has the ability to create miracles. So it's but if your will is aligned with God, then
yes,
obviously God can make things happen. So absurd? No. Kind of crazy. Yeah. I mean, like crazy in the, I just think it's kind of messed up.
Well, I mean, God drowned the world because of the immense perversion and wickedness. So
True.
I don't think he would draw the line at, flame
50.
broiling.
Yeah. 100 guys.
Some pagan heretics. No.
Many of those ancient cults had vile practices. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, the most vile is child sacrifice, and not baby sacrifice like they're doing over in Hamas.
Or
Child
Planned Parenthood.
They would wait until children were 5 years old to make sure they would survive infancy, because so many infants would die for whatever reasons that you wanted to make sure you had a good, valid child who was going to survive, and then you sacrificed him. Yeah. Number 45, Elijah is pulled into heaven by a whirlwind. So we kind of call that Elijah was raptured, right? Taken up in a chariot of fire. I actually did an illustration of this once I was going to use for a book I was putting together called Heroes and Villains of the Bible. It was going to be kind of a Marvel Universe book, but it was going to be like the different characters in the Bible. And the funny part is a lot of the heroes were also villains. So
tangential. Do you think Elijah is one of the two witnesses that stands in,
like Elijah and Enoch, because neither of them died?
Neither of them died. Yeah.
I mean, that's a fair guess.
Yeah.
Although, did anyone actually see Moses die? I guess so, huh? He was buried. They just hid the burying place. So, yeah. Anyways, so Elijah was pulled into heaven by a whirlwind. No. Again, this guy just wants to discount the miraculous. And we're not trying to say this was a natural event. Elijah getting raptured or called into heaven by God and not physically dying, but being translated into the heavenly realms or wherever he went. Yeah, that's just a God thing, not an absurd thing. All right, let's do one more, and then we can get to rise and fall. God sends 2 bears to rip up. Hey, he did do it. God sends 2 bears to rip up 42 little children for making fun of Elisha's bald head. Now, I don't know if it's little children. 2 Kings 2:23-24. I think it just says children, right?
Well, the idea here is this mass of children probably didn't get this idea from themselves. And so what's happening here is more likely a punishment or a curse on the parents. Let me back up just a second. And the men of the city said unto Elijah, Behold, I pray thee, the situation of the city is pleasant as my Lord seeth, but the water is naught, and the ground barren. And he said, Bring me a new cruse, and put salt therein. And they brought it to him. And he went forth unto the spring of the waters, and cast the salt in there, and said, Thus saith the Lord, I have healed these waters, there shall not be from thence any more death or barren land. So the waters were healed unto this day, according to the saying of Elijah which he spake. And he went up thence unto Bethel, and as he was going by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him,
So they
and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. And he turned back and looked at them, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the woods, and tare 42 children of them. All right, tear means not T-E-A-R, but tear certainly means take them out. But Elijah couldn't command the bears to come out. He spake, and God, for whatever reason, probably because of some context we fully don't decided the people of that city needed to be punished.
And I'm sorry, I'm super distracted right now because something big just happened.
What happened?
That has nothing to do with cross-examinations. I do apologize to everybody who's watching this, but this is something I've been waiting for to see. what would happen? Breaking. Corrupt SEC says it will not appeal the court decision in Grayscale ETF, which means that the corrupt SEC will be forced to approve Grayscale's effort to convert its 600,000 Bitcoin into an official ETF. The deadline was today.
That means the price of Bitcoin is going to explode.
I do believe that is the case. So, wow. Friday the 13th. Yay! All right. So that's that. That's all right. I'm gonna stop screen presenting that. I just thought if anyone was paying attention, that news just broke right now, and I'm like, yay! If you're in the Bitcoin world, you've been waiting for this for a long time. So that is going good. Yes, that is good. That is good. Very good. All right, where are we? We are in. Wow, now I'm super distracted.
Mike, I'm going to have to dip out.
31. All right. All right. Thanks for coming in and reading through that with me.
God bless everyone.
God bless, brother. 1 Samuel 31. That's very good. Very good. In fact, I kind of want to just put it on. I kind of want to watch the Bitcoin price right now. Don't I have a trading view? Trading view Bitcoin is. That news just came out. All right, I'm gonna keep this on. It's on the daily. No, let's put it on the 5-minute chart. And I know you guys can't watch this, but yeah, there's a spike. Spiking. We went up so far. I know you guys don't care, probably. We're only up 1% right now. All right. First, present. Share screen. 1 Samuel, chapter 31. All right. Now the Philistines fought against Israel. Let me double check. Yeah. And the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab and Malchishua, Saul's sons. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him, and he was sore wounded of the archers. Then said Saul unto his armor-bearer, Draw thy sword, and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through, and abuse me. But his armor-bearer would not, for he was sore afraid. Therefore Saul took a sword, and fell upon it. And when his armor-bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword, and died with him. So Saul died, and his 3 sons, and his armor-bearer, and all his men that same day together. And when the men of Israel that were on the other side of the valley, and they that were on the other side of Jordan, saw that the men of Israel fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they forsook the cities and fled, and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. And they cut off his head, and stripped off his armor, and sent into the land of the Philistines round about to publish it in the house of their idols and among the people. And they put his armor in the house of Ashtaroth, and they fastened his body to the wall of Bethshan. And when the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard of that which the Philistines had done to Saul, all the valiant men arose and went all night and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall at Bethshan and came to Jabesh and burnt them there. And they took their bones and buried them under a tree at Jabesh and fasted 7 days. So thus falleth the house of Saul. Stop screen. All right. Hey, if somebody's over there on Blacklist Universe, please hit the link in the chat and come on over to Unapologetic American and watch over here with the rest of the fellas and ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, no dinos in there. I don't know anything about Bitcoin. I only know it exists. Well, this isn't a Bitcoin show. It's just that I'm a Bitcoin guy. I'm Bitcoin, all the cryptocurrencies, and so it's very I've been paying attention to this very much for very long. And finally, the Bitcoin ETF is approved, is going to have to be approved, which means that a whole lot of institutional money is going to start coming into Bitcoin and crypto. So we've been waiting for this for years. Don't distract me. We can talk about it after I do the devotional. Jacob says, I just had a debate with someone who is a Christian turned atheist who couldn't tell me what faith in Jesus Christ is. I love these guys who I used to be a Christian, and they have no idea what Christianity is about. It just means that their parents raised them in a quote unquote Christian household. I call these people cultural Christians. So that is what it is. All right. Chapter 31, day 30, week 6, rise and fall. Weight of leadership. The death of Saul and his sons is the fulfillment of what Samuel prophesied in 1 Samuel 28:19. Israel is fighting the Philistines in Jezreel Valley, and the men realized they were no match for the Philistine army, and seeking higher ground to escape or regroup, ran up Mount Gilboa, more aptly described as a ridge. In so doing, they became easy targets for archers. We don't know the death count, but many Israelite men lost their lives that day, and we can safely infer that there was mourning of the children left fatherless, the women who became widows, and for those who became refugees because they fled from the Philistines. 1 Chronicles 10 gives a similar account of this battle, and at the end of the chapter it says, Saul died because he was unfaithful to the Lord. He did not keep the word of the Lord, and even consulted a medium for guidance, and did not inquire of the Lord. So the Lord put him to death and turned the kingdom over to David, son of Jesse. This battle didn't just have political and military implications, but it impacted generations of Israelites who lost a loved one in battle. All of this because one man didn't obey God and didn't submit his leadership to God. Do you feel the weight of that? Saul's decision... Sorry, hold on a second. I don't know. Probably not. I don't think Mommy's even been here today. Saul's decision as a leader mattered, which is why he and his sons were killed in battle. Israel played a part in this too. Remember how God handled the battle in 1 Samuel 7? Yet, even after seeing how God battled for them, Israel still demanded a king who would fight their battles. The decision Israel made 40 years prior, when they demanded a king to fight their battles, was now costing them the lives of their sons, husbands, and brothers. The decisions of our leaders, spiritually, politically, vocationally, etc., and who leads us matters. The Bible says leaders are held to a higher standard before God for how they lead us, but we have a role to play too. We have to seek God's will above our own and trust that even when life doesn't make sense to us, God is sovereign. Oftentimes, my prayer for situations I don't understand includes me not just asking for what is on my heart, but telling God that I ultimately want His best plan, not my own. We have to pray for the leaders God puts over us, even if we disagree with their leadership. These suggestions are not all encompassing, but had the Israelites sought the Lord instead of their own will, things would have unfolded much differently. Thankfully, we will soon read about how God redeemed Israel and Saul's bad decisions for the good of His people and for His glory. In other words, all things work for good to those who love God and are called according to His purposes. Question number 1 today is, which leaders... Sorry, I keep messing with my hair. It's drying and yeah. Anyways, which leaders will you commit to praying for regularly? List them and take time this week to include them in your prayers. I'm gonna put my hair up. It's driving me nuts. Where did I put my rubber band? There it is. All right. Sorry. I mean, I don't pray for Biden enough, although I don't think he's actually leading the country. But I do pray for our leaders to do what's right, even if it's not their own intention. That God's will is done, and this country is not destroyed by horrible leadership. Zach says, oof, third time this week I've been reminded to pray for our leaders and enemies, even if they're just plain bad. Well, I pray for my enemies all the time. I don't pray for my leaders quite as often as I should. Mike, let your hair down like Rapunzel. No. All right. Question number 2. Are you seeking God's will above your own? Yeah. I try. I mean, I say yes because that's I generally, like, in my prayer life, that's my thing, is like I want to be in God's will and I want my will to align with God's will. It's weird because I generally don't petition for like things. It's like I pray for provision. I pray that God will take care of, because I got a family to take care of. It's my job. And so I pray for provision to take care of my family. I mean, so that I don't have to sell my Bitcoin. But I don't want my Bitcoin to be my God either. So if I have to sell my Bitcoin in order to, take care of my family, obviously I will. I'm just asking that God, it's like I spent all these years trying to gather this investment, and what you don't want to do is sell it in the bottom of a bear market, right? So anyways, the bottoms have been a while. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that. But yeah, I pray for provision. I pray for guidance. I pray for my will to be his will. I pray for wisdom and good counsel, and that I follow God's will. So I can generally very much say that, yes, I seek God's will above my own. Not to say that I don't, that my will doesn't occasionally dominate over what I know the Holy Spirit's probably telling me, but I'm only human after all. All right. Question 3. What impact are your decisions and or leadership having on those around you? Could be good or bad. Well, I'm a leader at high school group. Does that count? I guess it does. Some of the kids really do, look up to me, I suppose. I know one in particular. He's a great kid. I'm not going to name him on here because he might be watching. But, I try to be a good example. I try to teach them how important it is to be foundational in your faith, so that you know without question, without doubt, not without question, because you can always have questions, but so that you know without doubt that this book, the Bible, is from beyond time and space. Like categorically, the evidence points to it being from outside of time and space, and therefore you either have to categorize it as being written by whom it is authored by, or by some time traveling charlatans who decided to travel back in time, deliver God's message, or deliver these lies to people throughout the span of thousands of years, pretend that you're God, create the miracles that convince these people that they're God, all in an effort to fake the birth, death, resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's so talk about absurdities. The absurdity is believing that the Bible is not written from outside, that the Bible is not authored by God himself. That's the absurdity, because all the evidence, if you actually do study it, and atheists who tend to study these claims such as myself. I was an agnostic. Tend to become Christians. I mean, some of them become Catholics. I can't explain that, but all right. Society Review says you're gonna die, and the world is going to keep spinning like it did before you got here, and then someone is going to take all your stuff. Bodhi Bakum. True. Very true. You can, make a will and decide where your stuff's gonna go, but so hopefully it's for the better. I hope I'm not leading anyone down a bad path. And if that's the case, please, I'm not a leader. I'm not your leader if you think I'm doing bad things. All right, daily prayer. God, I pray for the leaders you have placed over me. I pray that you would give them abundant wisdom and blessings. Help me to support, serve, and encourage those leaders in a way that glorifies you, even when I don't want to or feel like they deserve it. You know what? Amen to that. But I think this actually might have been less about like government leaders and more about leaders in your personal walk, like the people that you lean on for encouragement and knowledge and whatnot. And I'll be honest, I was like trying to think of who in my personal life I would consider a leader. Not that as, I mean, my pastor, I mean, look, for as far as knowledge goes, I tend to do study toward, like, I'll be on YouTube looking up people who know more than I do about stuff and trying to learn from, people. I used to, when I was on my Mac a lot, I used to go to was it Apple University, and they had all these different like professors from like Yale and Cambridge and all this stuff, and they would upload their lectures and whatnot. So I'm always trying to learn stuff, and it's not to say that I know more than everybody that I know personally. That's ridiculous. But it's like as far as like glomming on to a particular person as someone, and I know this is something everyone should have a mentor, and I should probably find one. I know Grant would be good. Grant's really wise older man. And that's another thing. Most of the people group, I go to a very young church. So I think my pastor's only 5 years older than me. And but Grant's older. I don't know. Maybe I should talk to him more. I just I don't know. I'm in a weird place where I want to find a mentor. I want to find a leader. But I haven't found one. Agnostic is, Devil's Air asked, what is an agnostic? Again, big word. Agnostic, don't know if God exists or is indifferent. So an atheist claims that there is no God. An agnostic says that you can't know if there's a God. Agnosis. A meaning without, gnosis meaning knowledge. Without knowledge. Another word for agnostic is ignorant, but people don't say, I'm ignorant. They just say they're agnostic. Agnostics are spiritual fence sitters. Well, here's how my dad put it, because he raised us agnostic. Oh, my shoulder. I was punching the dummy the other day, and my shoulder is like right here at the top. Got sore. My dad said the reason we're not atheists, or the reason he said he's not an atheist and why we shouldn't be atheists, is because you can't know everything. And you don't know if God is sitting on one of the moons of Jupiter, right? Because we're not there. We don't know the edges of the universe. We don't know everything. You have to claim to know everything about everything in the universe to claim that there's no God. So he thought the claim itself was illogical. My dad was like super logical. He was an engineer. Is that enough? So if you can't make that claim, then you should not make that claim, right? Because it's irrational to make that claim. And so that's why you tend to see, like in my life experience anyways, most people who do make that claim, they're not doing so out of logic, reason, and rational thought. They're doing it out of emotion because they got mad at God for something that happened or didn't happen when they were young or in their formative years. God didn't answer their prayer the way they wanted to. Their mom died. Their parents got divorced. Their nephew, or not their nephew, my nephew died. Their cousin got cancer. Something happened. They prayed to the God they thought they believed in, and God didn't do what they told him to do or what they wanted him to do. And so their emotional response to that is, well, there clearly must not be a God. And they get mad at God, and then they say there's no God. So it's, atheism to me, 9 times out of 10 is an emotional response to like I said. So what is the difference then between an atheist and a theist? Atheist is without God. Theist is the word for God. So theos, theo or theos means God. Theist is one who believes in God. So an atheist is one who does not believe in God. Yeah, theos is Deo. Deo means God. It's all like Latin or something. Deist is someone who believes in a God, but not a specific God. Same thing with theist. Theist and deist are, I think they're essentially the same word. But yeah. Any other questions? Or shall I just kind of wrap this one up a little bit early today? We've only got 2.5 minutes left. So, I didn't show any of afar. I got all the way to the crucifixion, guys. But I think I'm going to change one of these pages. So, I don't know where I was yesterday. Present, share screen. Devil's Hair says again, I'm learning on questioning so I can inform myself on this stuff. Amen. Good. Glad you're here. That's what we're here for, is to answer the questions that people have. So, all right, there's Jesus having a hard time. Simon of Cyrene comes along, or doesn't come along. In mine, he gets dragged into it. Carries the cross to Golgotha, and then pew, gets the heck out of there because he doesn't want to be on that cross. Jesus is stripped, put on the cross, and here comes the nail. As he's struck. You guys tell me, can you tell that the goop is coming off of the soldier? Because I know it kind of looks like blood, or it looks like there'd be blood splattering from the thing, but that's not what's happening. And then the other hand, now I'm saying the goop, the mud, the crud, the sin keeps falling off of the soldier. He gets cleaner and cleaner and collects more and more on Jesus. It's coming off of all of the people who are there bewailing. I guess that's one of the Marys. It's like flying off of her nose and off of her fingers and stuff. It looks like he's beating the blood out of Jesus, as side reviews. Yeah, I don't really know how else to illustrate it, but I think, and it might take people a couple times flipping through the pages to understand what's going on. Otherwise, I'm going to have to redraw those pages, or at least from an angle. I just don't want to do an angle where you see him actually hammering the thing, right? And then you see sort of the muck coming from everywhere and collecting on him. And now Mary is she's clean. The last bits of mud are coming off of her fingertips. It's all collecting on Jesus. And now you see Jesus covered in the muck, everybody's muck. And then, all right, so here people are walking away and they're clean for the first time. And you see it's still collecting on him until he's unrecognizable. I think I'm going to split this page up because I think more time needs to pass between panels 2 and 3. Show the other people first with the goop flying off before cutting back to the soldier. That might be a good. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I'll try recutting these panels and see how it affects what's happening. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to be doing, because this is the most important scene, so I want to make sure that it reads as cleanly as possible, and so I'm gonna be doing some editing and maybe adding some panels and whatnot, especially in this scene here before God forsakes him. And so yeah, all right. Anyways, that's how far I am now. 160 pages into Afar, the Adora Bible. Hope you guys all support it when I eventually do figure out some way to put this on the market. And let's get the gospel out to the world. Thanks everybody for being here. God bless all of you. Please do like, subscribe, and share if you are here and you're new. And please, everybody, leave a comment in the comment section below after the show's over. It will help drive the algorithm and share this with more people. So thanks again for being here. God bless you all. We'll see you on Monday's edition of Cross Examinations.
Back in line, you dog! On your feet! Get them going!